Both recording.
The introduction of mysis shrimp into Okanagan Lake in the 1960s has resulted in a major decrease in kokanee populations, and it is theorized that this will also have a major impact or put strain on a population of large creatures, such as ogopogo. This topic illustrates the concept of the trophic cascade, where organisms lower on the food chain will impact organisms higher on the food chain, or predators which prey upon smaller organisms.
Yeah. So concerning that sort of concept, some people view ogopogo as if it's almost, I might say, invasive species, where they say, well, we don't believe there's enough sustainability, nutrients, and fish population to sustain it. That's kind of built upon the presupposition that this animal kind, is an invasive species rather than a native. What are your thoughts concerning that?
Well, at present time, we do not know what sort of a mystery creature we have in Okanagan Lake. The sightings all seem to depict a fairly large creature, usually larger than 10 feet in size, and it must therefore prey upon a significant amount of food. Again, we don't know if it's vegetarian, a herbivore, a carnivore, an omnivore, if it preys upon waterfowl, fish, or flora, reptiles, turtles. We don't know. But whatever the case is, the fish population of Okanagan Lake was fairly stable before human introduction of invasive species such as carp, the mysis shrimp, and even on the flora side, the introduction of Eurasian water milfoil and other invasives can have a top-down effect and a bottom-up effect that can influence the survival of any species in a lake. And certainly a large unknown mystery creature in Okanagan Lake would not be an exception to this.
Yeah.
Does that sort of answer the question?
Yeah, so in short, I guess this creature would not be introduced in a sense, but is actually a native long before, the settlers came.
Correct. And in fact, First Nation stories reveal, passed down from generations, that a large, they call it a sea monster or a serpent, has lived in Okanagan Lake. Now this goes back hundreds of years of First Nations living along Okanagan Lake. There are pictographs in the walls along Squally Point and in and around Okanagan Mountain Park that depict a large mystery creature inhabiting Okanagan Lake. And First Nations legend has it that a large creature used to pull down canoes, and they would not travel across Okanagan Lake without offering sacrifices such as small rodents to appease the serpent. Now obviously we know that First Nations stories may have components of legends, but those legends are built upon actual truth and actual stories which they encountered. So over time, those legends may have been reinterpreted by white people or European settlers. But it's important to remember that the First Nations stories are actually built upon actual truth which they experienced, and that may have been hundreds of years ago.
Okay. So
was that good?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So what is your view concerning ogopogo in a scientific perspective? There's those who are just simply skeptical,
yep,
and those, of course, who just seem to believe in everything.
Yeah.
Certainly there has to be a middle ground.
Sure. So we have seen time and time again on this planet that there are species which are existing in the world's oceans and possibly even the world's lakes, which are supposed to have been extinct millions of years ago. An example of this is the coelacanth, which was discovered in the ocean by scientists and oceanographers, and has completely shocked the scientific and oceanographic community. The coelacanth is one of those living fossils which supposedly was extinct for millions of years, but it's still existing. We're seeing similar reports from the jungles in Africa and Papua New Guinea of species still existing that should have been extinct millions of years ago. And these are reports of dinosaur-like creatures or dragon-like creatures. I guess I won't get into that because that's getting away from the topic. But did I answer the question? I don't think so.
Well, what's it to you as a scientist
Okay.
concerning?
As a scientist, or as a freshwater scientist myself, I'm leaving the possibility open that there is a large, mysterious, yet unidentified creature living in Okanagan Lake. Scientists such as Dr. Paul what's his name? Dr. LeBond? Paul LeBlanc? Yeah. Paul
I don't know
LeBlanc.
him.
Okay. I want to talk about the Cadborosaurus, because that's another one of those.
Okay, we can do that. So.